All right. So who we have here is Jenny Guo. Thank you for being here, Jenny. And
Thank you for having me.
yes. So tell us a little bit about you first.
Okay, well, my name is Jenny. I have two restaurants with my family, and currently, and that's before coaching with one restaurant before coaching with Amy, and then because of coaching with Amy, now we have two. Right now, I'm working on personal goals, of uh, monthly income and personal freedom, and just moving forward with the business. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So this is actually our second interview that we've done together,
Yes.
right? Because a lot has happened since the first one. That's why I wanted to invite you to come back. So let's talk about this, okay? So what has happened since the mentorship, the first time?
The first time, I think during that time, it was more like a mindset coaching, being exposed and having the knowledge and the TIR concept. It was more like mental work. And nothing looks like was really happening throughout that time in the physical aspect. It was more like mental and doing the work and trusting and believing, with basically no results at the time. But that was like very valuable, tools and information for me to obtain, because ever since after, even though I took a break, from TIR and active, coaching, um, a lot of shifts and a lot of goals has been, accomplished and met. And it's just been amazing this time around with this interview, because things has been happening. I've seen the results. It's just been exciting.
Yes, yes. Okay, so with that, tell us a little bit. What have you manifested since? I always remember this. Like you sent me an email of all the things that you wrote down as goals the prior year, and
Oh
almost
yes.
right, almost all of them. Like you hit them, and I'm like, oh wow! Like it was so emotional for me to see. So
Yeah.
share with the audience. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that was like a recap of my whole year, because when you're doing this process, sometimes you get lost in the work, right? Like every day you're doing the homework, you're doing the work, and then you sometimes you don't stop and think about what you have accomplished, the reality of it all. And then, that one day, I was just looking at like, hey, I wanted more followers on Instagram for the business. Like, hey, this was like exactly what we talked about, and then the money goals, the revenues that we wanted to hit, like this just came out of nowhere. And obviously I had like a relationship goal, meeting like my person or my soulmate. That happened. It was just like a lot along the lines of, like taking a moment to realize like, oh my gosh, all these things um is now in existence.
Yes, absolutely. So
Yeah.
with that, in addition to that, right? You had mentioned just now that initially you had one restaurant, right? And then
Yes.
after that, the goal was to have a second one. And
Yes, the goal was to have 2 days off for everybody, because in the Asian culture, you like work your ass off, that's thinking that's the right way to do it. So yeah, the 2 days off for everybody, that was definitely achieved. And you asked me like, what would I want to see coming to work, because I didn't like the environment that I was in, just how it looks. And you asked me to visualize and give you this aspect of how I wanted to see things, and I was like, okay, well, this will be fun. And a year later, yeah, we had a brand new restaurant. I remember telling you this. You're like, oh, how would you want to see it? This is a brand new space, how would you want to decorate it? I was like, well, that's not logic. You don't buy a brand new restaurant, like that's too much investment. Like you always buy a restaurant that's already existing, and then that's logically that's how you do the restaurant business.
right.
And then just somehow, like we got this restaurant already existing, and then everything that we needed to do, like at the end of it, it was almost like a brand new restaurant. Like we had to tear apart like everything was brand new. And then it never happens within logic. That was logically we were like, oh great, we got a restaurant, let's just start. But we couldn't. We had to remodel everything because everything was so old. And at the end of the day, you came to the restaurant like after our grand opening, you're like, this is exactly what you described. And I was like, oh yeah, huh? Like I didn't realize, I made all these decisions, having how the restaurant how I want it to look without even realizing that I was making these decisions.
Yes, yes. And then also that you got a really good pricing on that too, right?
Oh yeah, we actually didn't purchase the restaurant. There was no purchase price. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And this is just so, to give the audience just a little perspective. This is during the time, right? During this pandemic, when
Oh yeah.
businesses shutting down, right? And then, right. But then there you are opening up more stores.
And definitely like the back of my, logically from everybody, even my mom, this was like right before we were going to sign the lease. She was like, should we really do this? We're in the middle of a pandemic. Like, should we really do this? And then I just remember in the back of my mind, you have to go like, something you would say, right? Like you have to go against it. Like you have to go against your terror barrier. You have to like, break through it, like this is when it's hard, like that's good, So I was like, it's an opportunity. The opportunity came. Like we can't, like we just go big or go home. Like let's just do it. It's not even my money, like these are like our friends and families, like helping us out, in this time, because we couldn't take a business loan because the first restaurant was too new for us to even take a business loan. And all together collectively, my family and I were like, okay, let's just do it.
Yeah. And then how is it going? It worked out, right? And then
it worked out. It worked out so well. We haven't even advertised the new location, and sales has been, increasing. Like I can't even, like describe it. Like it's been like way faster, than what we were anticipating. Yeah.
Yes. And then also you just shared with me that the goal for this year is to what?
Open another store.
Open more stores.
Yes.
Right. I think I always remember the first time when you told me about the goals, like that was the plan for you to open multiple stores, right? Around, I don't know, the US or even internationally, I think, right? And now you're making it happen, right?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. And I think this time around, it's very settling to know that, with the work and with the belief, it's possible, anything is possible.
Absolutely. And this is just on your professional side, right?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about your personal side. You are in your beautiful home.
Yes.
Share with
I am left in my bedroom because the office has been taken. And this is like such a funny part too, because like my boyfriend and I, obviously, manifested this person. And I was manifesting this perfect guy for me. And I've been friends with my boyfriend even prior to that, even though when we started dating, he wasn't this perfect guy for my manifestation. The funny thing is now I feel like he is becoming this perfect person from my manifestation, like just everything that I wanted, in my partner, like he's fulfilling those roles, as, we're both growing, which is like very, emotional and happy, happy feelings for me. But the things that we talk about, because he does a mortgage, like he works for a mortgage company, and obviously he's on the computer all day. And this company, they have offices in Korea and downtown, and he works in the Roland Heights, the City of Industry location. So his team, like he's the head of department for the submission team. So his team is all over the place. They don't really see each other. They don't really know each other. So I was asking him the other day, I was like, why don't you just work from home? You can work remotely. Like we can travel and you can work remotely. Like you don't need to be in the office, right? It's not like you see clients. He's like, yeah, I don't think they would like that. But because of COVID, he's working from home. He's been home, for I don't know how long, and he's just utilizing the office and every day working from home. So, and it wasn't even like something I intentionally put out there. I was like, oh, it'd be nice, right? Like your job doesn't require you to be there.
Yeah. So you manifested that. You also manifested the house, right? When everybody was telling you, oh, because the market is high.
Market is horrible. Market is high. It's not worth it. What you guys are doing, because, we had, our primary residence. So our names, we couldn't use it as a primary. So we had to use investment, which is like high down payment. People are like, it's not worth it. the investment is too high and the market will crash. But it seems like it's been going up since since we and it's the crazy part is the offer we put on this house was no competition to the offer the house has been getting. And like, I looked at the house in 3 days, it was closed. Like
Wow.
during this market, it was a little intense and crazy at the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So much has happened. You have manifested so much,
yes,
right?
yes,
Professionally as well as personally. Right?
yes.
So then share with us, Jenny, like what were some of your biggest shifts like during the mentorships? I know there are a lot because it's
Hmm.
been quite a while, but for
Hmm.
you, like what were some of the big awarenesses for you?
Um, I think the biggest thing that I have to say in terms of this whole process is like believing that anything is possible, like it's all possible, like truly believing, because in the beginning it was just more faith, just it was just faith, either blindly or in you because I trust you, but ultimately it's just believing it's all possible. um Obviously it takes work and dedication, and also it could be fun, I remember you always bring that out of us, like, are you enjoying it, are you excited, how do you feel, like doing the work or doing the manifestation or the visualizing, it could be fun too. It's not like tough, like hard, like it shouldn't feel that way. So I think that's, it's really nice to know and feel that work could be fun, and you could enjoy making money or achieving your goals in a positive way.
Yes, yes. Thank you for bringing that up because a lot of people to set goals and high achievers, they're just so focused on reaching the goals.
Yeah.
But I always say that, yeah, it's not about the destination, right?
Hmm.
It's not about the money. It's not all about this achievement, right? It's really
Hmm.
about the person that you've become,
Hmm.
the growth in the process,
Yeah.
able to achieve all those things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely, the growth that I've had, internally and externally, like professionally, personally, and as a person, from that was 2 years ago. In 2 years, this is like the most I've done. Obviously I'm still young, right? Like I haven't done much, in my life, but I can just feel it and know that in 2 years I've learned and grew so much and achieved so much. And it's just so exciting of, the potential that, like everyone has.
Yeah, actually, when you first came on the mentorship, I had mentioned to you, you're actually the one of the youngest mentees that I had, and
Yeah.
like you seriously transformed so much. Like the before and after is like you're a totally different person, totally inside and out.
Yeah.
Your energy, your confidence, your just who you are,
Hmm.
totally transformed. Yeah, and it's just so beautiful to see. And that's the beauty, right, of mentorship is that within a short period of time, you can grow so much, you can
Yeah.
accomplish so much, right?
Yeah.
If you
And I love how, yeah, and I love, like with any mentorship, obviously that's the goal, right? But I love that this program, there's like specific action steps to help you, to guide you, and the tools that specifically, you would need to achieve those things, instead of just here's the mindset, like hopefully you can, adapt that.
right,
Yeah.
right, right, absolutely. And at the end, Jenny, at the end of the day, it's actually you're the one who's doing the work,
Hmm.
right? So even though, like, for example, I can be here to guide you and provide direction, but at the end of the day, you're the one who did the work. And so I wanted to applaud you for doing the work and showing up, because because the fact that you're here, you accomplish all these things because you did it,
Hmm.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Good, good. So for the people that are watching, okay, so let's share. Why did you decide to invest in mentorship with me? The first time, okay, and now you're coming back. So what made you decide to do that?
The first time, I think at the time, it was a phase of growth for me at the time, of other personal development, courses, and it definitely set the foundation of opening, me up to all these possibilities. And at the time, I was very open to like receive anything, but I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the knowledge to the direction to go. And it just happened, right? And like you said, I was like one of the youngest, and being young and financially, it's equivalent, right? Like you don't have much asset or much to spend, on technically, a luxurious
Yes.
things. Like this is I believe at the time will be more of a luxury.
Wow.
But I really needed the direction, at the time. Like I remember telling you, like, whatever it is, just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to do it, I just don't know what to do.
Right.
Yeah. So and that was the best thing. That was literally the best thing that I spent. I used a credit card. Like all my credit cards was maxed out at the time because I was spending all this money on personal development courses.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I was like, well, like you said, if I have a money goal, I achieve those goals, then these should all go away. All my debt will go away. And yeah, I mean, and that's for these 2 years. Honestly, my paycheck has been the lowest I've ever received in my entire life. But my debt has been, everything's paid off. Like everything is just like flowing positively
Yeah.
because of the mindset. And that's like, I think the magic of all these things, because I've made more money before, but I didn't have anything left. I still had all these debt. Like it was just like, I don't know what was happening. But now it's like everything is enough. I have enough for everything. Like everything I wanted, like even luxurious things, like useless things, like everything I wanted, I have it. And it's not even about the paycheck, like how much, what's the check that I have every month.
Wow, that's beautiful. And the reason why is because, Jenny, you decided to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing, right? Most people don't really invest in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like they would think that, oh, they look at the price of the coaching, right? And then it's not cheap. I know that, right? But it's like, are you worth that much, right? To invest in yourself. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So with the people, like, okay. So where would you think that your life would be at if you didn't invest in yourself?
Uh, like I'll be stuck.
Yeah.
Like I'll really be stuck because I know my personality. Of course, I have this growth mentality, personality, but without these knowledge and tools and guidance, I'll really just be stuck being where I was, wanting to grow, but not knowing how. And that's a scary feeling because I remember, with Angela, one of my really good friends, your multiple many time trainee.
Yes.
I remember before, any kind of personal development courses, I would tell her, I'm like, Angela, I'm bored. Like I'm bored of work. I'm bored with my relationship. I'm bored of school. Like I'm bored. Like I'm so desperately like depressed because I'm so bored. Like I don't know what to do. I need the next exciting, next big thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think that's just your personality. That's like an Aries thing. Like you guys always get bored. I was like, okay, I guess. Like I was just looking for something more like stimulating, all these things. And I was looking for like a stimulating relationship or like a challenge at work or like a new project that I can take on. I even went back to school because thinking like another degree would be, a challenge. But until, coaching with you, like, oh, all the things that I've been looking for, it's just me. Like I just need to grow in any way possible. And, like it's from, I remember like from then, like coaching with you and then the personal development classes that I took from then to now, I can say I've never had a bad day. And I remember before then, like every other day was a bad day. Like just I'm emotional, I have a bad day, like I'm bored, like just, these emotions are like out of control. And now I feel like, I have a direction, I know what I want, even though sometimes, you feel lazy, you want to like relax, but like, you go back to it. And
Yeah.
that like sense of direction and clarity, like that's priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what happens with a lot of people, like thinking that always searching outside of them.
Yeah.
The next best thing, the next most exciting thing, not
Yeah.
realizing that we have everything that we need within us.
Mm-hmm.
We just needed to know who we are.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And it's not about outside, it's just us when it comes back to self-love. Yeah.
Yes. And I think for these kind of mentorships, people mistaking it as, like a career boost or manifesting more money. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't care for money. I don't care for that lifestyle. I just want my family. I just want love, but it's not just that, whatever you put your attention on, this could definitely help with, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with, other people. And anything that's nothing to do with materialistic things, the TIR coaching could definitely help with any aspect that you put your attention towards. So it's not just, like money, success, and materialistic. Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, we're growing you. And then
Mhm.
as we grow you yourself, all areas of your life will just naturally grow. Right. That's
Yes.
the
Yeah.
natural process. Yeah.
Mhm.
Beautiful. So the last question, for the people that are watching, Jenny, like who are thinking, oh, I want to, but I'm not sure. Like any piece of advice that you can give them?
Just do it. Just do it. And with all the negative that you feel at the moment, or any flaws or any doubts that you have in the moment, it'll all go away. It for sure, it'll be worth it. Like coming from, I was 24, a 24-year-old with, like my check was like 2K a month. My paycheck was 2K a month, 24 years old. I have nothing but a whole bunch of baggages from like relationships and past and everything. And I that was, your tuition was maxing out my credit cards.
Yes.
It was that, with the payment plans or whatever, my mom helping me on everything. It was all worth it. And nothing was, oh, I wish I could have done better, or I wish I could have reconsidered this. Like no doubt whatsoever from the get-go. And just, the first time around, every lesson is like, wow, every single lesson is completely worth it.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And now, right, seeing your transformation and seeing your manifestation, you're totally a changed person, and even your world has shifted since, right?
Yes. Yes. And I think a lot of it is this worth it? Is this money worth, what I actually get the value that was promised? Yes, I think it's you get way more.
You get what you put in, I want to say.
Yeah.
So it's not guaranteed. No one can guarantee, right? But like, that's why I say, Jenny, you did the work, right? So if people don't do the work, are they gonna get a result? Of course not, right? You put in the work and you'll see the results, and that's what you did, right? So thank you so much, Jenny, for coming back a second time. And, I just wanted for you to come back and document every time when you manifest things. I'm like, oh my God, we got to do this like every 2 years. Who knows what else you're going to manifest, right? And you look back, you're like, wow, this had happened, this had happened, this has happened. It's
exciting. And it's very exciting to share with people that understand. Because it's like, oh, congrats, you got a house, like, it's very hard to share these things, for people that don't understand, because of like, you manifested it, you just got lucky. Right? Like it's very nice to, to share with people that could share the win with me.
Yes. And you realize that you are the creator. You created it. You created the life that you're living in right now. You created the relationship, the money, freedom, like the house, right? You created it. No one else but you.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So again, thank you for coming on. And I hope, this video can really help inspire some people who are thinking, right, like, because you're so young, but yet you've accomplished so much. And I just want to say that I'm very proud of you, and then excited to see what's coming next, your next manifestations.
Yes, me too. And life is so short, you gotta like squeeze it in.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Jenny, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.